Hello, everybody, and welcome into the first Williamson Herald High School Football Extra. I'm Joe Williams, along with the master, Maurice Patton. And here we go again, year number 2. And it's going to be a crazy year in Williamson County for high school football.
Especially to start up. You know, we went through the classification in the middle of a classification period, and it threw everything up in the air.
Last year, we had a situation where 6 out of the 10 or 11 schools in the county all played in the same region. This year, 11 teams, 7 different regions we're going to try to take care of.
Big mileage checks.
You get mileage?
I meant to talk to you about
okay,
that.
Well, we'll have to talk about that when this is over. But, yeah, you know, I wrote a column a couple of weeks ago about just how far some of these trips are going to be. I mean, potentially, you got kids that could be gone for 24 hours.
It doesn't take that long to get to Paris.
I'm talking about from the time they get up in the morning until they get back in their bed the next day.
It could be some long days for some kids. You're right. I mean, like you said, we've got Brentwood and Centennial that will be in the same region with Henry County over in 7-5A. You've got some kids that'll be headed south almost to Alabama. It's some changes that for Williamson County it'll take some getting used to.
We literally are going to have to cover from the Kentucky line to the Alabama line.
But at least we don't have to go too far east and west.
I don't know. Paris seems quite far west to me.
It's across the river.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once you get across the river. Now, those 7 regions include 2 of our teams that are going to be in this new Super 6 region where everybody makes the playoffs. Defending state runner-up Ravenwood, Franklin, will be in that big 6A category. Supposedly the biggest 32 schools in the state.
Well, it's the biggest. It's 32 of the biggest 33 because Laverne dropped down and Maryville moved up. So, but yeah, that was the basic concept. Take the top 32 teams in terms of enrollment, split them off, and then you split the other 5 classes or split the other schools into 5 classes somewhat equal, trying to close the gap between the biggest and the smallest schools in each of the classifications. That was one of the things that a lot of the administrators were objecting to in the previous classification. They're trying to create a little bit more parity from an enrollment standpoint, and I think this kind of addresses it.
Of the 6 schools that played 5A last year, obviously Ravenwood, Franklin going to 6. Centennial and Brentwood are in a region that includes Clarksville and Paris, Henry County. Independence and Summit now will go south and southeast to a group that includes Shelbyville, Lincoln County, Franklin County,
Columbia.
At least there's one that's pretty close.
Yeah.
And then you've got the folks who are going to have to be, you've got Page in 4A.
They stayed a lot alike. I think they're
did.
still in with Marshall County and Giles County, so that region really didn't change a whole lot. I think they feel pretty good about that from a standpoint of playing with people that they've been playing with. So there's a lot of familiarity there.
Same can be said for the folks over in Fairview who are still 3A and pretty well stayed with the same group.
Yeah, they've still got Camden in their region, and that's probably the top 2 teams in that region. That's probably the way that thing will shake out.
In Division I, we add the quote new school, Grace Christian Academy out in Leapers Fork, and Lynn McNatt and all those guys out there just decided to jump into this thing full bore.
You know, when they brought Rusty Smith in as offensive coordinator last year, they were still playing 8-man. Daniel Beckman was the head coach over there, and I'm thinking, you know, ex-Tennessee Titan, okay, that makes a little bit of a splash. 8-man.
Yeah.
They knew something we didn't, I do believe, because now they've elevated Rusty to head coach over there, and I think that's got to be a draw for them, getting kids in there and getting kids involved and playing for an ex-Titan. That's got to be a big deal. So it's going to be interesting, I think, to watch them go about their business this year.
The 2 that pretty well stayed the same in Division II are 2 division schools, Brentwood Academy, where we're visiting today on this gorgeous football field, and BGA down in Franklin. They all stayed in Division II, pretty well stayed the same. So those won't change. We've added 1 team in Grace Christian, and now we've got all this traveling we're going to get to do. It got started on it a little bit early. Scrimmages already, Maurice, a couple you've already seen. Tell me about Smyrna going to Centennial.
First scrimmage, I think everybody just kind of wanted to knock some rust off. It was pretty nondescript, really, but I think the one thing that you did see was the 2 quarterbacks that Brian Rector and the Cougar coaching staff are going to be taking a look at. Blake Lovell, who came in from Spring Hill, and Tristan Piscani. They're going to look at both those guys, and it'll probably be right up to game time. Obviously, Rector doesn't have a problem going with 2 quarterbacks. They did it most of last year. I think they did it most of the year before. Actually, he's probably played 2 quarterbacks more than he's played 1. Since J.J. Tomlin left, It's kind of been a 2 or more quarterback situation over there. And he doesn't seem to be in any real hurry to settle it. So, hey. God knows what he's doing. They went 10-3 last year.
I was just saying, there are a lot of folks that think they can go a whole lot deeper this year in the playoffs if they can solve that one question mark. Overton went down to Independence, and Andrew Bunch had a big day. Threw the ball all over the field before it was done. Overton, though, maybe not as strong as Overton in the past?
I think you hit on 2 things right there. Andrew Bunch is going to throw the ball all over the place. Brendan Matthews was the other quarterback in the equation down there. He's now at Oakland along with his dad, who was an assistant over there. It's going to be Andrew Bunch's show at quarterback. He's got the 2 receivers, Nate Johnson, who is already committed to Purdue, and Seth Huner. And those 2 guys, if they can't catch it, it can't be caught pretty much. And I think they were both close to 1,000 yards. I know Johnson was over 1,000 last year. They're going to throw it come Hades or high water. Yes. They're going to throw it. And as far as Overton, they lost Ugo Amity, the kid who finally signed with Oregon, and a few other guys. So I'm not sure exactly what they've got this time around, but I think you probably saw what you're going to see out of Independence this year. They're going to throw it. Scott Blade's going to throw the ball.
Scary part is in that scrimmage, Bunch scored a couple with his feet. If he adds scrambling and running to the rest of his forte, it looks like the Eagles are going to have a very strong year. Got one other, Grace Christian was at Azelle Harding, and what I understand was a pretty controlled scrimmage. And Mo, that's kind of what the Lions of GCA need right now, to get some controlled scrimmages and to just get some experience under their belt hitting somebody else.
Exactly. This being their first year of 11-man football with a new coach, new program just coming into the TSSAA. They kind of want to feel their way along a little bit. They're going to get thrown in soon enough. I think their season opener is against a Fayetteville team that in their first year of varsity competition a couple of years ago made it to the second round of the playoffs. So they are going to hit the rough spots soon enough. I think they want to try to build a little confidence and get some kids ready for what they're getting ready to face.
Now, if you really want to have some fun, if you're ready for some football, Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock, big pep rally at your alma mater, Franklin High School. Franklin hosting Summit in a scrimmage. These guys won't get to play during the regular season as they have in the past. That's one of the rivalries that was lost with re-regionalization. But Maurice, I understand this thing is going to be a big blowout. They're talking about announcers, music, pep rally in front, speakers, food trucks. It's going to be a little bit of everything, and then we get to see some football.
I think they're blowing it out like you said. It's the first day of school. I think it's a half a day. They get out at 11:30. There's a pep rally. That'll be interesting. I don't know if they're going to bring them back or if they think they're going to stay or if they're going to do it before they dismiss them. But that, like you said, they're trying to make kind of a carnival atmosphere around that scrimmage there. Franklin and Summit won't play during the regular season. Only chance for Summit to take a shot at Franklin. And I'm interested to see what Franklin does this time around. They got into the playoffs, got bumped out first round by Centennial last year. And I think Donnie Webb and that bunch has probably got a bunch to prove. Like you said, they're going into that new region in 6A, and should be interesting.
Coaches I know are hungry. It depends on how hungry the kids are, and I'm willing to bet that if the coaches are hungry, the kids will be hungry.
They probably pass that along.
Now, you think?
Yeah.
Now, we'll know for sure when the Williamson Herald preseason tab comes out on August the 20th. Maurice, we're all working towards that. On the 20th, the first look at every team in the county, a capsule look at what's going to happen, and some other things that we're not going to give away right now. But I think this is the 10th annual edition of the Williamson Herald preseason tab. And, of course, you'll have all the schedules in there and all the regions so you can keep up with what's going on.
There you go.
It's going to be a good year.
It's going to be an interesting year.
Nothing else. It'll be interesting. Hope this has been interesting for you, and that you'll join us again next week on the Williamson Herald High School Football Extra. For Maurice Patton and Charles Pulliam, the guy who makes all this happen, I'm Joe Williams. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.